Welcome everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Today, I'm excited to have a chat with our senior developer, Glenn Silverberg, who has been with the organization for over 3 decades. And he's one of our amazing senior developers here at Prolifics. And we are going to dive into everything uh, from some career advice, some a little fun, and some personal insights. And let's get started. Let's kick things off by uh, talking about how you became a software developer and was this always your plan, or did you just take a different path to get here?
Thank you for the introduction, Nazir, and it's a pleasure speaking with you. And I have always enjoyed working with you. Yeah, when I was younger, I never really thought of software development as a career path, but I always liked writing code. I started writing code, I guess, in high school. I learned BASIC, probably in the early 1980s, maybe 1980, and then I learned PL1 in high school. And in college, I wanted to be in the engineering program, and I had a major in electrical engineering. Later on, I added another major in applied math. In the engineering program, the first course in programming that they require you to take is Fortran. I had actually wanted to take Pascal, but that class was filled up, and I couldn't get into that, and I had to take Fortran for my major. And and then later I took other courses in microprocessor programming in the 8080/8085 language. Um, and I learned C as a result of taking some courses in college called, I think it was robot vision and computer graphics. They just kind of expected you to learn C as part of the course. It wasn't a
Yeah.
class in learning a computing language. So I always had an interest in software. I didn't see it as a career path until I graduated from Stony Brook University,
Yeah.
and I had trouble finding a job in electrical engineering. And I did a couple of interviews, really only a couple, for computer science types of jobs. And fortunately, I wasn't very good at interviewing, but fortunately, they gave me a test at what was then JIAC, which later became Prolifics. They gave me a test. Apparently, I did reasonably well at the test, so they offered me a job. And
Yeah.
and I've enjoyed working for Prolifics ever since.
Now, this question comes up in someone's mind. Like, if you weren't a software developer, what do you think you'd be doing today? Just something that naughty,
Well, I
curious
would
people
have
wants
liked
to
to have
know.
been. I've been watching the baseball playoffs lately because
Uh-huh.
I root for the New York Mets, and yeah, I've been thinking lately I would have loved to have been a professional baseball player, and I thought when I was younger I was fairly good at it, and I should have pursued it more. I should have joined a team in high school, but I didn't have the motivation at the time. But I would have
Mhm.
loved to have done that. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't have the talent. I don't know. I used to think maybe I wanted to do physics and math when I was in high school. And I guess at the time, for some reason, I thought, well, maybe I couldn't it's really hard to like make a real contribution to society you know, come up with a new theory. And I thought, well, I didn't have a lot of confidence, at that age. And I was like, I probably can't, I'm probably never really going to contribute much doing something like that. And I thought, well, engineering maybe seems more practical, and maybe I'll make more money doing engineering than being like a professor or something at a university. So,
Yeah.
so that's why I went
Yeah.
the direction I went in.
Yeah.
But I've always been interested in physics and math, and I um,
Uh-huh.
still
Yeah.
read a lot about that stuff in the news.
Question for superpower now. This comes from, I think within our team, someone has asked this question like, if you could have any superpower to help you with your job, what would it be? Like that kind of.
Ah, well, first I should say there's not a lot of math in in what we're doing in software development. There could be, I suppose, but the type of work we're doing isn't a lot of math. But that's fine. And I don't remember very much math anymore. But if I had a superpower, I guess it would be uh, a superhuman memory would be really useful. I know you can look a lot of things up on the internet. It could be hard to find things, and that really helps.
Yeah.
I think it helps to be able to keep a lot of stuff in your head when you're writing code, also.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and if you could remember, you know, constructs and things you've seen other people do in their code without having to look stuff up,
Yeah.
even remembering how to use APIs. These days you have editors that are really helpful. In the old days, you just write code in like VI, and you kind of had to remember all the syntax and stuff. And I can still write code in VI, but I think just having a super memory would be very
Yeah.
helpful.
Okay, so now a fun question that I remember you once told me that you love having rolled gold pretzels during long calls, and like, what's the most number of packets that you've had eaten in a day?
I remember that we talked about pretzels because I didn't know if you had the same kind of food in India. Um, I've probably eaten an entire, family-sized bag in one sitting. Um, but I don't do that anymore. I've been trying to, avoid a lot of snacks. Um, I had lost about 30 pounds 2 years ago over
Oh,
the over up to the previous year, and I put back 10 pounds because I have since I moved.
okay.
I was living on Long Island, and now I live in Delaware. And then after the move, my routine got broken, and I stopped doing the exercising, and I went back to some old bad habits, eating some snacks. But I'm still a little. I've still been more cautious. I haven't been eating as much.
Okay.
So if I eat a bag of pretzels, I would stop at some point sooner than I would have stopped, a few years back.
And we are
But
like,
so I only put back on about 10 pounds. If I had been eating the way that I had been, I probably would have put back on almost the full 30 pounds that I lost. So
and what's the kind of like a specific beverage that keeps you going? Like just still water?
oh, well, no, I started drinking flavored seltzer, which
Ah,
is they don't have any calories. And
yeah.
up until recently, I thought it was like 100% safe. And then I started reading about how the way that they get the flavor out of certain fruits and put it into the
Uh,
seltzer is possibly not that good for you. And I
mm,
I didn't know that until recently, but now that I've already been drinking it for 2 years,
uh,
and it's kind of hard to stop because
yeah.
water doesn't really do it for
Yeah.
me. I mean, I do drink water too,
Yeah.
but I think if I stopped drinking the seltzer, the flavored seltzer, I would probably start drinking soda again. Um, I
So
still
you have
drink
to, yeah,
I still drink a Coca-Cola once in a while. I like
yeah,
Coca-Cola.
yeah.
Um,
You
or
just have
maybe
to
I should
choose,
just go back. I should probably
yeah,
just drink regular seltzer.
you just have to choose one which is less harmful to you.
I avoid the things that say like they have like aspartame and
Ah,
sucralose, those fake
yeah, yeah,
sweeteners, which I don't have any confidence
yeah,
that
correct.
they're good for you. So I try to avoid the things with those sweeteners.
Yeah. So, away from work, so how is your after a long day of coding? Any hobbies or any routines that you would take up, or you already have been taking up?
Um, After work, I like to relax. Sometimes I watch TV, watch a show or a movie. Um, as far as just sort of general hobbies, I like
Yeah.
bowling, which I'm in a league that's once a month. I go bowling in New York with friends that I have in New York still, and I wanted to do a league that was every week in Delaware, but it didn't work out. And That's my main hobby. I also, when I go to New York, I usually go to my synagogue on Saturday for the
Yeah.
services, and sometimes I help out with that. And I don't know if you consider that a hobby, but sometimes I help lead the service there.
Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of fun.
Okay. So, and yeah, you told about bowling, right? So we also have in like what we do. That's kind of a different one. We actually bounce the ball on the ground, and
Yeah, what
it's
you're talking about is cricket. You
yeah,
have
okay, yeah,
Yeah, the bowler is like the pitcher in baseball.
yeah,
But no, I'm talking about 10 pin bowling, which is with
okay,
pins,
okay,
and they're 60 feet away. And the idea is
okay.
to knock down all the pins.
Is that sport in the Olympics as well? I think Olympics should have that.
Um, I
Okay.
don't think it's an Olympic sport. I don't think
Okay.
it should be. A
It
lot of
should be,
things
yeah.
should be.
It should be, yeah.
I mean,
I think
the
they should
people that
consider
do
this.
it are not necessarily the best athletes, but it
Okay.
does require a lot of the same mental strength that a lot of
Yeah,
sports require, a lot of
yeah,
focus and the ability to compete under pressure. A lot of the things that go into other sports go into bowling.
yeah,
Hand-eye
correct.
coordination, certainly.
Yeah, exactly. And recently we had heard about introducing some new sports into Olympics, so they might also should be considering this sport as well, because obviously
Yeah,
it meets
definitely.
all the requirements.
It's become more international. There are a lot of countries. It's become popular in. I
Yeah.
think the bowlers in the U.S. go to other countries to compete.
Oh.
For the prize money is not that high in bowling. It's not like golf.
Uh-huh.
It's maybe $20,000 for the winner of the tournament. Not
Yeah.
like millions of dollars. But I think that the professionals earn their money in other ways, probably through endorsements from companies.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Unfortunately, I would have loved to have been a professional bowler too. I don't quite have enough skill. I'm a decent
okay.
amateur, but I don't have the skill to be professional.
Is there any like tech trend or buzzword that you are secretly you wish to just disappear? It should just disappear.
A tech trend that I wish to disappear. Well, considering that I've done a lot of my work in the C programming language, uh, and the U.S. government has kind of told people they shouldn't be programming in C anymore because of the issues with memory management. It doesn't you have to do
Okay.
your own memory management in C, and that creates a lot of security holes for people that don't do it right.
Oh,
Um, I don't know if I would say I wish the trend to move on to other languages would go away, but I think just the proliferation of programming languages is probably more than we really need. I mean, how many do you need, right?
yeah.
You've got when I was
Yeah.
thinking of C, I guess I was thinking of Rust is a possible replacement for C for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, Python's become really popular, but
Correct.
I prefer writing code in Java. I think it's easier to read. Um, I like more strict typing that you have in Java.
Yeah.
So
Rust has been in the news for, I think, just recently. It has been a programming language, obviously, but in the news, I have been hearing a lot about Rust, that it's going to replace some other languages as well. So Rust has been
yeah,
into recent.
there's been some news about
Yeah.
that. I don't know if Linus Torvalds, I don't know if I said his name right, would
Yeah.
allow allow the Linux kernel to be rewritten in Rust, maybe if it was
Yeah.
good. Um,
Yes.
but I think he
Okay.
favors Rust, and
Yeah. He
he's
favors us. Yeah.
the god of Linux.
To just to wrap up the things, wrap up things up here. Is there any final piece of advice that uh, you would give to junior developers like us and in the tech world who should be hearing you talk like that?
Well,
Yeah.
following all this along the line of thinking the discussion we were just having, I think you have to keep your skills up. You have to
Yeah.
keep up with the technology as it's changing.
Yeah.
You know, you can still focus on something you want to do, whether it's back end work or front end work, and maybe even focus on some technology that you like to do to accomplish that. But these days, you also kind of have to have a full stack kind of knowledge about
Yeah.
how to do almost anything, because especially if you're in consulting, right? You
Yeah.
know, you could be sent off to do almost anything, and it isn't always what what you were told the project was going to be about, right?
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
done a lot of consulting, but the few things that I've done, they always seem to be something like that. You don't find out exactly what you're doing until you get there, and it's usually not something. It's often not something you have experience in, right? You
Yeah.
have to learn as you go along.
As you go along. Correct.
Yeah, so you have to
Okay.
keep up with
Yeah.
the trends and the technologies and everything.
Yeah, that's inevitable. That change is inevitable. That's happening. So this has been a uh, very wonderful podcast that we've had. So see you all soon. Goodbye till then. Bye.
Thank you, Nazir.
Thanks. Okay.